All right, guys, we are back, and normally I pretend to have a lot more enthusiasm than I do to have to talk about these two games, but I have the unlawful and unexpected displeasure of reporting on both of these two games. Um, Truthfully, I had no care, no passion, and zero concern about either of these games and who won them. I just felt that the games prior to them were so excellent that I didn't feel they deserved to be in a part of that video. To be honest, I felt like it would take the direction off, derail it. I had so much passion in that recording. I had a lot of notes and stuff that I didn't need to take because I was so refreshed. And I came off of both of those games. It was very easy to cover them, and I could yap about them for an extended amount of time on end. If you're wondering why I'm back on the couch, for those of you who've been seeing me on the couch, I'm here because of a lot of things. Number one, I'm here because it was convenient. Number two, I went outside and cut the grass and did not want to go back into my bedroom without showering because this is terrible. I'm going to be honest though, I have to wash the car after this. So I'm not going back into my bedroom until all of this is sorted out and I've gotten all of my outdoor activities in. I can take the one shower instead of taking multiple because it's wasteful on water. And number four, I just like the setup sometimes, all right? I like being able to really hear and really get up and amped about with my voice. So there's that. But yesterday's games that I didn't talk about in part one, if you've seen part one, I doubt anyone has though, were Boston's game against the Orlando Magic, their Orlando Magic second home game. That was a very pivotal game for Orlando, but I'm gonna be honest, it really didn't change my opinions about the series, and it really didn't change my opinion about either of the two teams. Gonna be completely honest, and then uh, a real heartbreaker out in Milwaukee. Damian Lillard, after coming back very, very early from what everyone thought was going to be a season-ending, not an injury, but a season-ending condition, having a blood clot in one of his legs. I'm not sure which one it was. Not that it matters at this point. Has torn his Achilles in a non-contact injury. You just gotta feel bad for the man, like just really bad for him, consistently. I mean, like it's just been like one of the hardest NBA careers, maybe ever, to be honest. Um, and I don't mean that in the sense of the adversity that he might have faced in like the playoffs or like just not having a real chance to ever compete. That's obviously a part of it. But yeah, he's just been very unlucky, like consistently, in my opinion. Unlucky in the fact that he was born in the generation where he was never going to be recognized as the best point guard in the league. Just because Steph Curry exists, right? You know, a guy who's competing for number one and number two all time. And fortunate in the fact that his team was never able to build a contender around him. Unfortunate in the fact that he finally asked for a trade from this team and wasn't dealt to the place that he really wanted to go. Unfortunate even more so in the fact that after realizing it was too late for him to compete on that team and still not going to that team, he gets thrown into a situation where he's not happy. Even more unfortunate that the brother has had a divorce since he's got there. Like it's been a rough go about it for him, and the Milwaukee years have not been the brightest of years either. Even more unfortunate that I think he might be the only guy left on this team. This team has mismanaged assets probably just as badly as Portland has, if not worse, to be quite honest, because at least when Portland got off of Dame, they had a plan. They got Scoot. Now, Scoot is not the greatest in the world, but they have plenty of other guards that could probably eventually give them good enough production for them to feel like they made a right move in moving on Dame at that point in time. But yeah, it's tough. It really is tough for Damian Lillard. I didn't think he would come back When I first heard the news of the blood clots, I thought the Milwaukee Bucks season was over. And then they were facing Indiana, and I was like, even if Dame was healthy, in my opinion, that they didn't really stand a chance against. They didn't really stand a chance against the Pacers. Now Dame finally gets his legs underneath him, right, and then immediately the cruel basketball world snaps him right from below him. It's really heartbreaking. Honestly, this video is more about Dame than it is about either of these two teams. I'm just gonna be honest. I could not care less to cover either of these games. I could not. My thoughts did not change on them. If you wanted my thoughts, my extended thoughts at least, you can find any other day where I talked about the Orlando Magic and I talked about the Boston Celtics series, and you can find any thoughts I talked about on these ones. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that that Giannis has been relegated to NBA TV, NBA TV, NBA TV, and then Game 4 happens, right? He's finally on the national stage. And Giannis has a good to great game. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't know. I was tired as fuck during that game. Yeah, I was pretty tired during that game. I'm not gonna lie. From what I remember though, Giannis was having a good game, and the stats are probably gonna back me up. I'm gonna pull those up really quickly. We can really go into depth about the game and just like shooting stuff and stuff. Shooting variance is probably the biggest thing that really happened in the Bucks win last time. And by the way, the variance was literally just Gary Trent Jr. I'm gonna be honest. Gary was amazing. No one is going to deny that he was amazing. He was probably the production that most people were looking for Dame throughout the series. At least in that one particular game. But yeah, no, this series never had a chance. I'm gonna be honest, especially with the conditions that were set from the jump, from the get go. Like it's unfortunate that Giannis is playing, or Giannis has played that well, and this computer has just Google Chrome is not loading. That's great. So even my laptop doesn't want to do this video, man. Jesus Christ. We're gonna get this out. This is obviously going to be a shorter one because I'm not going into depth about the games because, I mean, again, Orlando is a bad three-point shooting team against a team that has a good enough defense. This like a top 10 defense at the bare minimum. Orlando's defense is amazing. Don't get it twisted. They are not fully healthy. Their best perimeter matchup that would have probably bothered Derek White. Okay, now the computer wants us to respond. Would have bothered Derek White. Was not there for the series. So, yeah, that sucks, obviously, and they didn't even need, and again, the Celtics did not even need to be fully healthy to beat the Orlando Magic. No one thought that they needed to be fully healthy to beat the Orlando Magic because of how poorly this team is spaced. It is a poorly spaced team. Paolo has averaged 30 points throughout this series. Like, there is little to talk about in this series. I just like what do we? Tatum looked good. Yeah, that's something, I guess. This game was pretty close at certain points in time, but I'm gonna be completely honest. Even if you like want to be like, well, you know what? You can be impressed that the Orlando Magic won a game, I guess, if you're an Orlando Magic fan. I think that was the expectation still from one of us. I thought you were going to get at least one. You got the one. And it's over, to be quite honest. Yeah. Franz. 7 threes is too many threes for you. You do not have a good jump shot. Please, for the love of God, especially with Jalen Mosley, please tell him to stop fucking taking these threes. It is the most aggravating shot ever. Especially from him because he is not a good three-point shooter and he's not been a great three-point shooter throughout the series. Unlike Paulo, who has been decent. Like, he has a low volume of threes, but like at least most games you hit 2 of them and he's not taking more than 6 of them. Now, 33% is not fucking wowing anyone. It's not wowing me at least, but that's a fair amount. That's fine. It keeps the defense honest. These are just to keep the defense honest, where so they have to guard him from the perimeter. And remember, if they guard him from the perimeter, there's likely a chance that he'll get a full set of steam going to the rim and either draw a foul or get into a better position where he can post up and fade over his defender. These are good shots for Paulo. The three-pointer is just to keep the defense all honest. The threes do not keep the defense honest in fucking Fran's case because he's averaging somewhere closer to 13 fucking percent than he is to 33%. That's not acceptable. I just like I said 33%. That's probably not true. Actually, that might be true. Hold on, let me check. Actually, I do want to check. I do want to check real quick. I'm going to check that real quick because I feel like he's been shooting so poorly that actually might be true, which is disturbing and disgusting, and you should be alarmed by that. But yeah, let me check that real quick. I'm gonna check Franz's. Man, that's crazy. I even said that. I'm not thinking about that. It might be true. Franz Wagner. Yeah, he's been shooting terrible. Other than that, though, Franz has been great. But again, they operate in the same position. There's very little spacing on the floor. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. And there's just such an obvious hitch in his jump shot, and they don't respect them. They're not even guarding these threes. These are not even like. Remember, I've been giving Rush shit for shooting threes for a long time. He is now only shooting wide open corner threes. If Franz was shooting wide open corner threes, I guarantee you I would not be giving him this much shit. I think the place where he could be the most effective is obviously not the corner, because he is abysmal at shooting. So I don't think shooting from the corner would help him. I think he needs to shoot at the top of the wings in those like tertiary corners. So there's like, obviously I'd break down the arc into 5 seconds. There's the top of the break, and then there's the 2 wings, and then there's the slants, and then there's the corners, right? I think if he was shooting from there, it would be fine. Okay, let's see. Now, all of these games, these are his playoff games. There's been 1, 2, 3, 4. I swear, Google, please work with me. I just wanted to pull the numbers up to the video. I don't want to have to pause the recording and wait for you to work. And I'm not going to pause the recording to wait for you to work. But seriously, let me just see. That's a regular season game, so I don't have to worry about the. All right, so but it's against Boston, so I think I should mention it at least. The best shooting percentage that he's had against Boston in the last 5 games. Keep in mind, one of these 5 games is a regular season game, and it is very much so the game where he shot okay in that game, which was 2 for 4, mind you. Still, amount of threes that I am okay with him taking, because I think he can make 2 of them. He shot 50% in that game. I'm not going to count that game, obviously, for the playoffs because it's not a playoff game. But let's talk about this really quickly. And also, I don't think that Boston played all their players that game. That didn't probably matter to them. And they won that game, so clearly they didn't, right? I'm going to go through the schedule while I'm checking that. That's 16%, 14%, 23%, and 28%. I'm just going to do the math in my head and divide this by 4 so we can all understand that I'm averaging out the percentage. That means 28 plus 23, right? Give me that. Right off the top of my head, I think that's closer. That's 51. Plus 14, that gives me to 63. Plus 16, that gets me to 70. Sorry. Sorry, my bad. 65 plus 60. That's 16. We're at 71. 81, actually. 81 divided by 4. So 80 just divided by 4, just for in case we're unaware, is 20. So my comment about him being closer to 13% actually holds true. He is closer to 13% than he is to 33%. That is terrible. Like, first of all, we just did the math out loud. That's bad. That's bad. That's not keeping the defense honest. And one of these games, he shot 13 threes. I honestly was disgusted in the fact that he shot 13 threes. And that was an Orlando win. So you can already tell how I feel about him shooting around 7 of them a game. That's not good. And by the way, I'm just going to average this out now, show you the amount of attempts he's been taking from 3 in this series against Boston. This is much easier, mind you. 6 plus 7, that's 13 plus 13, that's 26. That's 26 plus 7, that gives me the 31. That's 31 threes during this game. I can tell you for a fact that none of these have come from the corner. They have all been top of the key or these wing threes, right? These are terrible shots for him. Please take them out of his diet. That is a coaching issue. That is certainly a coaching issue. I want him to be confident in his shot. His shot inside the arc is fine. It doesn't have the same fucking hitch to it. Stop taking these threes. All right? That's my biggest thing with him. I don't have a problem with actual three-point shooters taking threes. KCP has been abysmal this series, mind you. I still feel confident in KCP eventually making some of these threes. Now, he's not been great in this series, and he's also on a pretty big contract. So whatever, might have dodged a bullet there. But I think Jokic could have gotten him better shots, too, that he would have been more comfortable taking, because they've been asking him to take a lot of off-the-dribble shots, which is not his game. They need a new guard, obviously, because if your guard rotation is going to have Cole Anthony, Anthony Black, and an injured Jalen Suggs, you're going to have guard deficiencies often, especially because KCP is also one of the guards that you have on your team. Now, he brings a lot of veteran and championship pedigree, but he does not bring ball handling. You need someone to take the ball out of Franz's hands. Franz should not be a primary creator. Franz can be a primary creator, but not in the playoffs. It's not a recipe for success, especially considering that his three-point shooting is this poor. You want Franz operating inside the arc, and to get the ball to the arc, you have to dribble it. Someone else needs to do that for him. All right? That's the solution. If Cole Anthony's going to be good enough for the playoffs, fine, but I don't believe that. If you're telling me next year, Jalen Suggs' development, which he was a pest in the Cleveland series, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. That series went 7 games. He's also gotten better since then, perimeter-wise. If he is going to be out there, it's fine. But Cole Anthony and Anthony Black are not enough, especially because defensively, I know their liabilities. They don't have the same instance as Jalen Suggs. They never were going to win the series because they didn't have Jalen Suggs. If they had Jalen Suggs, this series might go 6 games, and they might be really six really close games instead of what we got. Now, to talk about what happened all the way in Milwaukee really quickly. Oh my God. If the page would load, Jesus. Man, I see, now you're getting passionate out of me because I'm frustrated now. I don't even want to be doing this video. I really want to be making my top 20 video. That's the one you're getting after this one, by the way. I'm recording it directly after this one. You're getting a top 20 from me right off the dome. I'm not going to pull a paper or anything. I will look at statistics to inform myself about these things and generally have it, because it's going to be a lot easier to work my way back from 1 all the way down. Spoiler alert, that's how I'm going to be doing it, because I think it's a pyramid. We're going to talk about the tiers. We're going to talk about the top of the pyramid first and work our way down. Yeah. But if you like this video, because it has been painful to record, please give me a like for this video. And if you hated this video, tell me why you hated it in the comment section. And if you want to see more of these videos, or would like to see a better version of this video, or even just little slight edits or minute things about this video change, like, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. YouTuber nonsense. Goodbye.